All right, thank you everyone, or anyone who is watching this today for joining our virtual Roadshow webinar. I am Jo Booth with NeuraFlash, and today we're going to be talking to you guys about building a robust customer experience via Amazon Connect standalone. We're doing this as a lead-in to our reInvent, but you can always reach back out or revisit this presentation, and I will always be a resource for you for any questions that you might have. So with that, we'll get into it with our agenda. All right, to start it off, if you haven't worked with us before or I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, we're going to go over who NeuraFlash is as a company and how we can be of a value add to you at AWS. Following that, I'll be going through kind of setting the stage for you guys so you can be in the mind of a customer. If you haven't ever really accessed or sold Amazon Connect to any of your customers or really touched it from any vantage point of wherever you work within the AWS ecosystem. We're going to cover the feature set that it can be included or can be customized for your customer base. Like I said, I'll mention a customer profile, and then I'm going to hand it off to my esteemed colleague who is also on the webinar today, Bobby, to go through a Connect demo for you guys. You can listen to me talk all day, but I don't know about you, if I see it, it really sticks better than just listening to someone walk through it. Lastly, in closing, we'll go over how to partner with NeuraFlash. Like I said, we are direct resources for you. Consider us an extension of your Amazon Connect specialist team over there, as well as sales, delivery, and day 2 support. And this slide is available to anyone over there at AWS, and in the appendix are some additional resources. So with that, so you know who you're hearing from. Like I said, my name is Jo Booth. I'm based in San Diego, and I cover the West Mountain and SMB for AWS sales here at NeuraFlash. I come from a long kind of tenured professional experience in contact center and telephony, crossing from the East Coast to the West Coast over the past 12 years or so. And I'm excited to be working with anyone I have before and any of the new faces that I might get to meet following today. And I'll hand it to Bobby to introduce himself.
Thanks, Jo. Yeah, hi, everyone. I'm Bobby Lasoya. I'm a solution engineer here at NeuraFlash. So similar to an SA type of role in a pre-sales capacity at NeuraFlash. So I help support all motions with Amazon Connect as far as building out the potential solutions, the statements of work for services, and helping customers understand the types of solutions that they can build on Amazon Connect. And I'll be leading the demo today.
Great. Thanks, Bobby. All right. Now into the fun stuff. So who NeuraFlash is. Like I said, some of you may have heard of us. If not, I'll give you the rundown here. So we were founded in 2016, and we initially became a company that was an exclusive Salesforce partner, covering the entire suite of that Salesforce ecosystem. Our leaders and technical leadership over there, some of them come from Nuance, some of them come from some other software platforms, but a heavy bench there and experience in terms of the contact center and customer experience journey. When Salesforce and Amazon decided to hitch their wagon together with the Service Cloud Voice product go live, we began our AWS practice as well, focused primarily on Amazon Connect and any of the services within that ecosystem that it might touch. Like I said, our leaders have built some very complex IVRs and chatbot in their history in the technical space, including several large airlines that you may or may not have ridden on in your past experience. And we're really just hit our stride here this year in our growth as an employee base. We are now over 400 employees. We're the #1 AWS partner for Connect and Lex deployments, as well as Service Cloud Voice. And while we won't be touching on Service Cloud Voice specifically today, one of my counterparts on the East has also done a webinar specific to that. It is also a resource to you. But today we are your leading partner for Connect and Service Cloud Voice deployments, and we have achieved over 200 of those to date since Amazon Connect came on the market. We carry several certifications and accreditations, and like I said, extensive background in history in our team and our leadership team, as well as the resources that are available to our mutual customers. So on the right side of the slide here, we'll cover some of our expertise here. So I've mentioned the contact center transformation piece. You're going to see that live here with Bobby's demo, as well as we have several referrals and public references at your disposal for your customers. Within our team, we have conversational designers, we have extremely tenured data analysts, linguistic specialists, change management, and QA resources that are available to be utilized. We began our generative AI practice over the summer and have really seen a lot of interesting conversations leading out of that, and adding that into the Connect discussion for self-service and true transformation for our customers' customer experience journeys. We also provide advisory services. So sometimes a customer doesn't know what they don't know yet, or they really haven't been able to lean on a partner or find a way to truly build that roadmap. So we can provide journey mapping, innovation, insights, and mock-ups to really give your customers that full roadmap for them talking about even a sales cycle or a delivery mechanism. And lastly, like I said, I mentioned our Gen AI practice. This does cover both the AWS and the Salesforce side with Amazon Bedrock and Einstein GPT. And then we're going to move forward here, and you'll get to see some of our awesome customers that we've been able to work with you guys on. So with COVID, which was an interesting time for everybody, we saw a very huge spike in the retail space for our customers, as those types of companies really had to pivot due to the nature of what was happening in the world and pull a lot of their business off of the brick and mortar style into the online space. But to showcase here what we like to term our NASCAR slide, we are not just niched or kind of stuck in one particular vertical. No matter what your customer industry is or a use case that they might present to you, it is safe to say that we have probably heard it before across healthcare, across the financial space, manufacturing, automobile. See DoorDash on here. So we have a lot of experience across several different verticals, and probably built a demo that can apply to whatever they're asking you for, or even some custom integrations there, depending on what their solution or their technical landscape looks like. All right, so moving into the interesting part and what we're all here for today. So what I'm going to do is set the stage, give you the 30,000-foot pullback view of what Amazon Connect looks like. It is absolutely okay if you have never sold or really spoken to it before. We are your advocates and your extended team here to do that with you, for you, alongside you. So at the end of this, I'll give you a lot of contact information and some toolkits that you can take back. But remember that I'm always here as a direct resource, and you don't have to know everything, because this is what Bobby and I talk about all day long, and everybody else that works here at NeuraFlash. So like I said, pulled back view, and then Bobby's going to dig into the details here. But Amazon Connect, basically, what is it? Why does anybody really care to talk about it? And there's multiple reasons why. One is it's easy to use. It's deployable. It's quickly deployable. It doesn't have a lot of kind of unknowns there. Amazon is constantly pivoting and taking customer feedback to ensure that a deployment isn't a painful experience. It's something that truly gets customers, the agents, and the business excited when it comes to fruition. So it's an omni-channel cloud-based contact center service, and it truly is scalable as well as global. So any customers that have multiple contact centers, anyone that is concerned about a consumption rate or needs to basically increase their ROI when it comes to their contact center, or they have agents leaving left and right because it's just too much swivel chair, Amazon Connect should be the first thing that they're thinking about. So covering a few kind of pulled back feature sets and items here, we've got skill-based routing, truly allowing those agents of those different tiers of support to actually do their jobs instead of living inside different interfaces or getting bogged down, and allowing some self-service into their contact center for customer experience, voice and chat recording. This has multiple value adds here, not only for a customer so that you can go back and revert and kind of refer to a previous discussion, but also for training and onboarding and an improvement of those agents' skills for supervisors to really help them become their best selves, essentially, in the workspace. Real-time and historical analytics, being able to see what the business is actually doing. What are customers reaching out for? Are we really answering the top questions that they constantly need us to answer? And then kind of the downstream effect of that. All right, so they are always asking about this. Maybe we need to lift and shift within our business to answers at the forefront so that our agents aren't getting repeated questions all the time. High quality voice capability. A lot of customers also have IVRs that are just touch tone, DTMF. We can help them elevate that into a natural language understanding so that it basically almost sounds like you're talking to a person and it understands what you're asking. Again, that kind of leads into intelligent automation, and I mentioned our generative AI. All of those large language, LLM models back there can also be things that can bubble up into the contact center space and truly add amazing feature sets and value to a customer's contact center experience. Gaining insights, customer profiles, sentiments, transcriptions, comprehending what a customer is saying, and having an agent have a custom desktop where when they get that call in or that authentication occurs, they're not piecing together the story there. They know that this customer has already had an issue with password reset or whatever that issue might be, and they know how to handle that with maybe a little more care and understanding so that that customer walks away going, wow, I don't know why that felt really productive or better than my last experience, but we know that's because they moved to Connect. And lastly, just contact center flexibility with the consumption of Amazon Connect and just the ability for it to, like I said, scale and go globally. You're basically using a toolkit that has the elite support system at its own, like basically Amazon uses its own toolkit. So if you've ever engaged with Amazon your own purchasing or things of that nature, you know that they stand by exemplary support, and CSAT is very mission critical to them. So having that contact center flexibility and that support behind you day in, day out really kind of does some of the selling for you. All right, before we get into the demo, I'm gonna give you just a quick story about kind of putting yourself in the mind of a customer. And this is just an example, not a real customer, but kind of a combination of a lot of stuff that Bobby and I have seen through working together and working with a lot of customers. So what I'd ask you to do is just kind of like sit in there and pretend or kind of think that you're someone, a decision maker at this customer. This customer is called Green Swag Products. And as he walks through the demo, just thinking about how, in terms of this profile, Connect is really going to help this business scale and grow. So Green Swag Products, they do business to consumer sustainable clothing, both in the US and in Europe, and they are completely online. They probably have a really cool TikTok social media team as well. And their online store is embedded in their website. So they really hit their stride in COVID and were very successful. Like I mentioned before, retail really spiked in the online space. And so with that growth, they're able to take some time and look at how they operate as a business and realize they have a lot of tech debt and a lot of swivel chair going on. So they source their materials globally, and they maintain a follow the sun contact center model, meaning customers should be able to reach them no matter what time they're reaching out. And they have both customers and vendors contacting their contact center, which live in US, London, and Australia. So annual revenue, like I said, they've done pretty well for themselves. They're at about 500 million. Their retail and clothing space, they've got about 3,000 employees, about 500 of which live in their agent space, and they do have some BPO outsourced in India. Lead source, this came to us from AWS. We thank you guys for the partnership as always. And their timeline is, per usual, pretty quickly. They have a contract with Genesis that is ending, and so they need to be live on Amazon Connect as a full standalone solution by the end of 2024. All right, last but not least, before I hand it over to Bobby to show you guys what I'm talking about, what are their objectives? I might have mentioned it before, but NeuraFlash is a huge outcome-based company. We do not like to do projects just for the sake of getting a customer on a particular tech stack. It's not our vision. It's not why we get up and go to work every day. We want to speak with these customers about the business KPIs, about really what makes them tick or what keeps them up at night, and really drive that internally, both through the sales cycle and then delivery. And as I mentioned, we also do provide day 2 managed services through our Onward program. So in speaking with the customer, we were able to really dig in on some of the outcomes that they're looking for here. So like I mentioned, a lot of swivel chairs. The agents are getting frustrated. It's hard to keep great talent in the tech space these days, and they're having a lot of turnover because these agents are just having to touch too many spaces, too many interfaces to really understand what the customer needs. I have to go to this screen to get cases. I can't even find the recording of the last time they talked to me. There's no email to case or chat integration here. We're really just living in a bunch of cycles, and it's very frustrating for them. So this mission critical for the decision makers there is to make their agent experience a lot better. Like I mentioned, lower tech debt and consolidate their tooling. They're paying a lot of different contracts, not just Genesis, to integrate, to just give them a one kind of point of view within their contact center space. Knowledge integration using Wisdom, which Bobby will show you, which can also lend itself to an increased onboarding time frame for those agents, and decreasing, the time that they hire somebody new to get them really in the chair and in front of customers. Everybody cares about CSAT, so they want to really improve that. Their customers have told them, like, I don't know how to get a hold of you, and when I do talk to your 800 number, it doesn't understand me, and I have to press whatever to get to an agent every time. You guys really need to improve this. So we're going to improve their CSAT and their training work stream with Contact Lens. The supervisors, they would love to know what's working and what's not working, and they would love to be able to build professional roadmaps for their agents and understand where maybe they're not hitting the mark entirely, and just to really help elevate that job satisfaction level. So we're going to apply a lot of amazing reporting and analytics and dashboards into the supervisor space, so that they can really have that full view, peek under the hood about how the contact center is operating. And lastly, it's optimizing their omni-channel experience, which today is just piecemeal. So their customer experience journey is going to feel an immediate effect, as will the internal agent team and the supervisors. They're going to have Amazon Lexbots, and they're going to uplift that click to dial DTMF IVR into a natural language understanding IVR. All right. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Bobby so he can walk through some of what I've described here today, and I will stop presenting my screen.
Awesome. Thanks for that overview. Let me share my screen. So yeah, there's a lot of information there that Joe was able to walk through. I think that's our typical type of customer that we see, is somebody who wants to replicate, a good customer experience coming from a competitor contact center as a solution platform, and wants to move to Amazon Connect and continue to leverage all those different types of features to provide a good customer experience. So I'm going to try and walk through a handful of those features, but just keep in mind that those are the types of things that we would see from a customer, right? So when they think about what does Amazon Connect provide, just another slide here quickly, as far as what we're going to walk through. We're providing a omni-channel experience here across voice and chat and self-service, so we're able to continue to provide that level of service they're looking for. A lot of customers these days are really interested in analytics, like Joe mentioned, so Contact Lens. We'll also walk through things like cases and tasks and Wisdom. At the very end, we'll get through analytics, evaluations, screen recording, all the things that happen kind of post-call and post-chat within the platform that help to kind of drive that additional value and understand what's happening in the contact center. So, Amazon Connect being an open platform, it does have APIs that are powering large portions of the solution. So what you're looking at here now is the NeuraFlash custom agent workspace. So this is all leveraging Amazon technology to drive the agent desktop, but with a little bit of NeuraFlash flair. And so this is a workspace that we use in many of our engagements with customers who want to continue to extend the Amazon Connect platform outside of what's provided out of the box, right? And so Amazon makes that very easy for us to build our own custom workspace so that we can then extend that functionality to customers and allow them to then further extend the platform beyond what's available today. So here on the left-hand side, we have the agent CCP, and then on the right-hand side, we have some more panels that will give us some additional information about the caller, right? So single pane of glass that helps us to understand who's calling us and why, and then whatever other information would be relevant for that interaction. As you can see here, I'm available in the Amazon CCP, so I am able to take any inbound calls or inbound chats, and we'll send both of those in right now. So you should be able to hear my phone in a second.
NeuraFlash Retail. How can I help you today?
I'm looking for an update on my case. I have an issue with one of my cases.
I see you need help with your existing case. Would you like to be routed to an agent who can help?
Yes, please.
I'll connect you.
Okay. So as you can see here, now we have a call coming into our agent workspace. We can go ahead and accept that. And a couple of things to point out, right? We are now on a call with one of our inbound callers, and you may have noticed also that in the inbound, before it got to the agent, there was a natural language understanding IVR, right? And so a big portion of what makes Amazon Connect powerful is the ability to leverage things like Amazon Lex. So Amazon Lex has a native integration into Amazon Connect, which allows us to leverage natural language understanding and allows us to provide a more natural IVR experience, like Joe was mentioning before, to help us kind of provide less options in the IVR, but also give us a chance to kind of move the customer through quickly. Now, once we're here on a phone call, we have our typical call controls, but like I mentioned before, we also have the option to create customer profiles inside of Amazon Connect. So the customer profile allows us to gather different customer data points and put them into a singular workspace. So considering the variety of different data sources that might be relevant to a customer service caller today, customer profiles allows us to kind of put a lot of that data together into a single unified view. And so this is really designed with flexibility in mind. So it's working with pre-built connectors to third-party systems like ServiceNow or Zendesk, as well as other native AWS sources like Amazon S3 or DynamoDB databases. And so as I go through and work on this customer profile, I can see other information either being pulled in from third-party sources or native to the Connect platform itself. So it helps us to kind of organize all of the information about the caller. Another piece here that we'll see is the cases themselves. So we do have the ability to create cases now within inside of Amazon Connect that allow us to track customer issues outside of the interaction themselves. So if a customer calls in and there's an issue that needs to be taken care of, we can track that in a case and then have a task associated to the case that allows us to then make sure that we're following up with the customer or have a track of what's happening even after we hang up the phone with them. So these are two things that are inside of Amazon Connect and inside the agent workspace now that make it very simple for me to kind of maintain that single pane of glass. The other thing that we need to talk about is omnichannel. So as Joe mentioned before, the Amazon Connect solution does allow for multiple interactions to happen at the same time. So here you can see now that I have a chat coming in to my profile, and I can accept that chat at the same time as I'm taking the phone call. So again, we can have this be configured in such a way that if I'm on a phone call, I do not have access to take a chat. But you can see here that in this demo instance, I have the ability to be multi-channel, right? So if we think about agent efficiency and things along those lines, we can definitely enable the ability to have them handle multiple interactions at the same time or multiple chats at the same time, right within the same workspace. So there you go. Now, outside of this, we did talk a little bit about wisdom. And so let me go ahead and end this chat here. And so if we were to think about what wisdom is doing, right? If I wanted to like have a reset password workflow, or I want to listen to what's happening inside of the console, well, we would have wisdom here that would allow us to pull up suggestions, and those suggestions will tell us what in the knowledge base that we can use to help solve the customer's issue. So wisdom will be listening to everything that's happening in the conversation, and then we can pull up different knowledge articles or wikis or FAQs all into this experience, whether it's integrated into a third-party system or natively displayed within the platform from S3 or something, we have the ability to then pull up wisdom content like that and have it trigger off of the transcript to then give an easy access to the wisdom content for the agents, that they know what they're looking at and can kind of move through the conversation quickly. So, after we complete this call, there's a couple things that we can also show you as far as, what we're doing inside of the Amazon Connect space. So outside of what's happening directly on the agent dashboard or in the agent workspace, we are obviously leveraging additional functions in Connect to provide a deeper level of detail to supervisors or to managers, or just to have an idea of what's happening within the contact center. This right here is an example of a contact trace record. This contains all of the information about that call that we just did, and that can contain things like customer sentiment trends, agent talk time or non-interaction time, if that's something that you guys are tracking inside the contact center, particularly important in the customer service application. We do have the ability to show screen capture inside of the CTR record to see what was happening on the screen of the agent as they were going through their process. And Contact Lens also has the ability to provide simple summaries or simple highlights that take the transcript and can condense this transcript down into key highlights like issues and outcomes, right? So for this particular call, we can look at it and switch to toggle here to say show key highlights, and we can see that Contact Lens is able to analyze the transcript and find what the issue was, and then also what the outcome was. So this saves our supervisors a lot of time when they have to go and review a call. They can see, using Contact Lens, we can summarize this into just the issue and the outcome right away. We also have the ability to leave performance evaluations. And so you can see on this call that we also have a simple form here that kind of helps us score our agent depending on how the call went, right? Did they use empathy? Did they close the call properly? Were they polite on a scale of 1 to 10? And the great thing about this is that it also is hooked into Contact Lens. So if we needed to, if we have rules that are set up to define, agent performance, we can apply those agent performance rules directly into the performance evaluation to make sure that we're not having to go through and evaluate every single call. We can let Contact Lens provide some of that information and feedback to us automatically through the rules that we can create in the conversational intelligence suite. Now, NeuraFlash is also working on a separate workspace that is called the Voice Manager Experience. And what the Voice Manager Experience allows us to do is provide a kind of embedded experience outside of Connect that allows us to modify or change different things in the system without necessarily going into Connect itself. Sorry. Pull that up again. So here we go. So this is a similar view to the custom agent workspace that we have, but this one is geared more towards a supervisor. And so this is a view, again, using the Amazon Connect solution as the backbone to provide a singular pane of glass for a supervisor. So they have different tabs for things like a dashboard where they can see call volumes, they can see different things like queue activity. Since in the case of like a retail organization, they may have, especially coming up with Black Friday, they may have a specific line that's going to get hammered that particular day, or maybe there's a particular group of agents that we know are going to need a lot of help that day. So we can look into moving around staffing and understanding where we might need help based on how many calls we think we might be getting that day. We also have the ability to bring in insights and analytics from other places on platform. So as an example, we can bring in things like CloudWatch dashboards to our supervisor experience to show things like concurrent calls, how many calls are being missed, do we have any packet loss on the platform, where are callers coming in from, what types of intents are we matching on, and that's where we also can talk about Lex dashboards. So if we think about what was happening on that IVR, right, I was talking about needing help with my case. I was talking about I needed to escalate to an agent. And so we can bring those sorts of insights into these sorts of dashboards as well to provide Lex dashboards that would then provide more insight into not only what's happening, operationally in the contact center with what's happening on calls, but also what's happening prior to calls being created inside Amazon Lex. Secondly, we also have the ability to provide functions within IVR administration. So within our experience manager, we can pull in the different things that are being built on the Amazon Connect side from a contact flow perspective. And then we can start to give this to the end users or to the business users so that they have a way to work through changing prompts or changing entry flows or changing welcome messages or changing what queue certain calls are going to, or if we are recording calls or not. All the different parameters that are being listed inside the contact flows themselves inside of Amazon Connect can then now be surfaced here in a simple UI for a supervisor to manage as necessary without having to gain access to the larger Amazon Connect solution. Same thing would apply for something like phone numbers. If, let's say, for example, there was a Black Friday emergency and we need to send everybody down a different pathway or provide a particular special message to customers that were calling in, instead of having to go build a new contact flow and assign the contact flow in Amazon Connect, we can come in here and change the different settings that are tied to each specific phone number as far as what types of information the caller will be receiving. And of course, if necessary, as a supervisor, I have my contact control panel here. And if I needed to, I can engage in phone calls and help out the contact center if necessary. If there's overflow or if I need to take over a call from one of my agents who is getting escalated to supervisor, we have that ability in our custom supervisor experience as well. So there's a couple of different things that we're working on within Amazon Connect. Like Joe mentioned, the platform is very extensible. There's lots of different functionalities that are inside the platform that we can use to drive varied experiences across lots of different retails, whether it's finance or retail or what have you. We just showed a subset of these things today, right? Chat, voice, IVR, a little bit of voice ID. You might have seen customer profiles, contact lens, wisdom, Lex, but there's a lot more here to talk about, especially around outbound campaigns, how we can use cases and tasks to drive things like email routing. There's a forecasting, capacity planning, and scheduling module for things like workforce engagement. So the Amazon Connect platform is a fully functioning, well-rounded contact center solution. And with the ability to build and extend on platform, we've built a lot of really cool things for customers and that are out there. So if you have any customers who are looking at those types of functionalities and they don't fit perfectly into this box, I guarantee you we should have a way to extend the platform farther to reach those customers. That's all I have for the demo, Joe. If there's anything else, otherwise I'll just hand it back to you.
Great. Thanks, Bobby.
Yep.
All right. We'll wrap up here, which is a couple more slides.
Okay.
All right. Great. All right. So hopefully from that demo, at least has you thinking about some of your customers and where NeuraFlash might be able to fit in. I mentioned earlier on in this discussion that we do advisory services. So even if your customer hasn't expressed a distinct deadline or particular interest yet in migrating or moving any part of their contact center into the Amazon Connect workspace, it is something that likely they would want to discuss with leading thought leaderships and partners that have talked about this all day and have these types of conversations to help them roadmap that out, talk about their innovation tactics, talk about what their probably generative AI, success criteria or outcomes look like from the business. And that is something we can definitely help you guys lead with. So I'll cover real quick. I do a lot of one-on-ones with AWS account managers And oftentimes I get asked for those that haven't had that experience quite yet is just, how do I prospect into my patch or my base when looking at Amazon Connect opportunities? And the quick answer is there's a lot of easy wins to figure that out. And also I am a direct resource to help you kind of fine tune that. So if you have any customers that are in the financial space, healthcare, like I said, DoorDash is up there, automobiles, any of these customers, 99.9% of them have a contact center. So if they're not something that you guys are talking about with them yet, it is something that you can always bring up, because without a doubt they have one and they're using somebody for it, and they probably would like to hear about ways to make it better. Some other ways that you guys can start prospecting, honestly, just Google is your best friend. Contact them. They probably have a publicly listed 1-800 number that you can dial into, and that'll give you kind of a sense of what type of IVR, how they're operating today. If it is press 1 for this, press 2 for that, that means that they are an ideal candidate to probably uplift that into a natural language understanding type of IVR that Bobby demoed for you guys. Ask them who their current telephony provider is. Like I said, DTMF prompts, go onto their website. Is there a little chat bot, a little chat with us now item in the corner? Is usually in the bottom right. That means that they're using somebody for a type of chat kind of omni-channel, or at least somewhat type of experience for their customers. But if you walk through it and kind of ask it a few questions, it's usually pretty easy to tell how built out or intelligent that is, and identifying intent and taking it to either a self-service, does it solve the question or the problem that I brought to it, or does it immediately route me to an agent because it's really just to show that they have a little pop-up, but it doesn't really do a lot of function there. Shadowing agents. This is something Bobby and I do all the time in our discussions with our customers. It's, a day in the life, like take a seat in that chair with them, and customers are almost always happy to let you do that, because it really helps the agents tell the story and the pain without them coming across maybe to leadership like they're complaining about how they operate today. We want to be sensitive to the fact that, there are other people in that room. So showcasing it allows us to go, well, is there a reason why you haven't considered it maybe doing it this way? Or did you know that right now in your space, the best practice is this way through Amazon Connect? So shadowing agents, this is something Bobby and I will absolutely clear our schedules to help do alongside those. And it really helps us take a peek under that hood and give us a true narrative for where we can take them in their roadmap. All right, a couple quick call outs here. When to reach out to NeuraFlash. If you hear Amazon Connect, if you hear a contact center, if you hear the term customer experience, we are your go-to partner there. I'll say it again, just because it is that important. We can lead advisory conversations before the customer is ready to make any decision, or maybe they don't know that there's a decision possibly to be made. We can handle or work alongside you and your SAs or any team members you have for any pre-sales. That is, it doesn't have to be qualified. It can be, maybe they want to talk about it. Do you guys want to join a call? Our answer will always be yes, and we can run that sales cycle to fruition. Our team of resources is well equipped to deliver the best customer experience to get them live on Amazon Connect. So we will handle that implementation on behalf of AWS. And lastly, we will provide day 2 support through our onward managed services. So I think Amazon Connect has launched upwards of 450 feature sets since it came onto the market in 2017. And that is honestly not something that we should be expecting our customers to manage in-house. Some of them try, some of them use managed services for different types of flavors. But the truth of it is very hard to keep up with how innovative AWS and Amazon Connect is. And we are that toolkit to help them just stay on top of that, to roadmap it out so that they're not living in an old version and they're constantly seeing ROI for being on such an amazing platform. Competition knockout. So I mentioned our leaders come from Nuance. We have done a competition workshop for AWS. There are some competitor slides here at the back of this slide deck, but we can really simplify and expedite those first steps of migrating your customers off of something like Nuance. And we actually do have some products that are NeuraFlash owned, one of them which is our IVR migration tool that we can use to really speed up that delivery and get them quicker to go live. Custom demos, like you saw, we do have some demos all the time, and we do have a lot of already built ones that we can apply to customers, but it's not going to feel like we just clicked play on something and it doesn't really tell them a story. So the more we know about your customers, or when we talk to them, then we go back and we do our work on our side to build it out so that it really speaks to their story and what they're trying to achieve. And lastly, map funding. We are very well versed in map funding. My superior or my supervisor is Joanna Bird. She comes from Amazon. She is one of the first sellers of Amazon Connect, and we stay on top of map funding, and we will do the estimators on behalf of AWS to show our customers what they can expect their budget to look like when they are live on the platform, but also to submit for pre-approval on the funding if they are map eligible. All right, last slide, and then you guys get to go back to your days. All right, so how to reach us. I mentioned Joanna Bird. She is our VP of AWS sales. Like I said, she comes from Amazon and knows Connect inside and out. Anthony Chandler is my counterpart on the East. If you have anything in that territory or in Canada, he's your guy. I cover the West, the Mountain, and SMB. And then Chris covers our Central. So those are your team members that you guys can use at any point in time. This deck is available to you. I am always available, and thank you guys so much for your time. And Bobby, thank you for joining to do the demo, and we look forward to working with all of you.